to bonus level.
Hey guys, and welcome to level 8 of the bonus level podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Jack, of course, along with Josh and Luch. And we have a really special episode for you guys this week. As most of you know, our beloved, the legend, Stan Lee passed away on Monday, November 12th. And in his honor, we decided we wanted to have an entire Marvel-themed episode. So we're going to be talking about everything from our favorite movies, our favorite comic book characters, and just kind of celebrating a long, legendary life that this man had. And I think all of us have some sort of appreciation in a lot of different ways of the work that he did to inspire us as kids and obviously still as adults. So yeah, we're going to get into all kinds of, Excelsior. We're going to get into all kinds of stuff like that. But first of all, how you guys doing? Either of you? Any of you?
I don't know. I thought Josh was going first. I mean, I could go first, but I'm doing all right. I'm doing good.
Yeah. Luch, you mentioned last week you got a promotion.
I did get a promotion.
Yeah, and you started this week. So how's it going?
That's going all right. I mean, I've only worked a couple days since I'm going on a trip for a early Thanksgiving trip. But other than that, it's going well. It's going well. Yeah. Hopefully to do better than a certain someone. Shout out to that guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's very happy to get you promoted, but also sad to see you leave, right?
Oh yeah, I'm sure he'll suffer without me.
He'll suffer. Actually, their store has done wonders for me since you left, so thank you for that.
Wait, are you serious?
Yes.
No, you're lying.
No, I'm dead serious.
How many have they sold?
3 today, actually.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so it was awesome. Josh, what about you? How's your week been?
It's miserable. I'm so jealous of the weather you guys have.
Oh no!
I don't care what it is down there in your area. Like it's 40s and raining every day, which not only puts a hamper on doing any kind of photography, but is just miserable to leave the house.
Yeah, it's crazy though. Is that like you're not that far north? You're only like 8 hours, and the weather difference is insane going from like the 40s to it was in the 80s
north
today.
Of me. Like,
oh my god! I mean, I know. I came from there. I came from another 12 hours north of you,
right?
And I had to suffer through every single winter. I mean, Nicole's in New York this week, and it's 35 degrees. She just landed, and it's 35 degrees. So, yeah, I definitely don't envy her in that regard. Yeah, so like I said, I mean, we're going to be just kind of talking about all things Marvel, and even our little segments are Marvel themed, which is going to be awesome. So I'm super excited. Yeah. But like I said, of course, everybody knows, anybody in entertainment or anybody that's anybody knows who Stan Lee is. I mean, really, I don't know how you don't know who he is if
dude, the amount of love that I saw for that dude on Twitter, everybody that I follow from every different genre of background was posting something about him. Mm-hmm. And the crazy thing too was the amount of people posting their pictures with him.
Yeah.
Like everybody, like that dude like was always out there ready to take pictures with people, which was crazy. I mean,
one of my biggest regrets would be that I did never get a picture with him, never met him, never got to shake his hand. I mean, and we'll talk about this, but I mean,
took a picture of him in the Dragon Con parade, but I was, I don't know, like 2 car lengths away from him.
Yeah. Luch, you never met him, right?
No, I've never met him, and I'm kind of upset that I did. I heard he was a pretty swell guy.
Yeah. But so he was he was born in 1922, and I didn't know this, but and I don't know if maybe I just assumed this or this is me being naive, but I thought he was one of like the founders of Marvel, right?
Okay.
I thought that, did you guys think that? Is that like a common conception? Yeah. But he actually started working there, and I actually could probably go into a little bit more detail to find that out. Maybe we'll get Chives to do that. Chives, can you find out who started Marvel? But he started working there and then worked his way up, and obviously he became one of their primary creative contributors, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and he created characters that we that have been beloved all over the world: Spider-Man, X-Men, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk,
Squirrel Girl,
Fantastic Four, Black Panther, Daredevil, Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, like all of these iconic superheroes. And I mean, I remember seeing those as a kid, and obviously my parents, they had these comics as kids too. You know what I mean? Like, this man was born in 22, and from the 40s on was writing and making comics, right? So I mean, the amount of people that saw his work, that were influenced by his work, that were inspired by his work, I mean, it's just unbelievable. It was started in 1939. Marvel was. Thanks, Chives. It was actually started as Atlas Comics, which is interesting, and then the Marvel branding actually came through in 1961. So it was a little bit after, but Stan Lee and then his partners Steve Ditko, Jack Kirby were the contributors. But just going back to Stan Lee, I mean, if you like comics, if you watch superhero films, movies, Stan Lee, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not only was he always credited in every Marvel thing ever, he was always in the movies, right? He always had. That's like his thing.
When I first realized that, I wonder how many that I watched when I was younger and didn't ever realize it until maybe being a teenager or something.
Yeah, for sure. Luch, what was your first memory of seeing Stan Lee in a movie? Like, which one? Can you think of in your head, like, which one you saw?
So the first one that I actually saw it, and I was like, man, that guy looks incredibly familiar. I never knew that he actually did a cameo in his movies. I think it was actually fairly late, to be honest. I believe it was like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Really?
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know. Because I've seen every single Marvel movie when it came out, but I just remember seeing him talking to that girl, and I was like, man, that guy looks really familiar.
Oh no, that was like pretty recent, man.
I know. I didn't really know that.
Mine probably would be like early X-Men, the original X-Men movies, and then like seeing him. So you'd see him, and you'd be like, "Oh, that's Stan Lee," but like not really putting two and two together. As a kid, like I knew that Stan Lee was like the guy, right?
Yeah.
He's like the guy. But actually like picking up on the fact that he's in every single Marvel movie probably was like through the X-Men, and then like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's when I first really realized it was in Spider-Man. I couldn't tell you which one that it was that I really remember.
Yeah,
but it was. I remember one of the old Spider-Man. That was like when I kind of got nerdy with things and was like, oh, did you know that that's Stan Lee in this movie?
I remember like once I actually realized it, I was always set to like, that was one of the things you see the movie and you're like, all right, where's his cameo going to be? And then you'd see him and be like, oh my God, that's hilarious.
It's almost always right in front of your face.
Oh yeah.
Like it's either by himself in like a good 5 seconds of you looking at him, or he talks to the main character for
absolutely. And they do. I mean, obviously they do that on purpose, but it's like, it's awesome. It's always funny. It's always on point.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he in the different cutscenes, he was like the Larry King lookalike. He was the Hugh Hefner lookalike. He's been the bus driver. He's been the guy playing chess in the park. Like he's been all of these different characters. And I don't know, like I'm sure you guys have like a hilarious one. The one in I think it was it? I can't remember if it was Civil War. I think the one in Civil War was really funny, where he comes up as a FedEx driver and he's like, "Is there a Tony Stank here?" It was so funny. And then War Machine is standing there and he's like, "Yes, this is definitely Tony Stank." So good.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it was a very good one.
No, my favorite was in Thor Ragnarok when he cuts Thor's hair. He pulls out that crazy looking blade whirly thingy, and he's like, "No, not the hair."
Yes, yes, that one's really good.
Mine is actually from the Deadpool 2 teaser trailer. where he's like, "Oh, nice suit," and then he's like, "Zip it, Stanley."
Yes.
See, Deadpool's the only one to ever recognize him as Stanley.
False.
Right? No,
false.
It's not.
Nope.
No, which one was
it? So in Chives, you're gonna have to help me out with this one. But there's one where he's trying to get into the gala. There's like some sort of gala going on, and he walks up, and the guy standing there at the steps and like to get in, he's like, "Sir, you're not on the list." And he's like, "No, I should be on there." And he's like, "No, you're not." And he's like, "But I'm Stan Lee." And he's like, "Nice try, buddy," and like pushes him out. And he's like, "No, really, I'm Stan Lee." And
oh my god! Yes, I know which one. I know it's a fairly one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's like it was kind of newer in the past 5 years.
Chives, we need your help now more than ever.
I feel like
Chives, please come through.
Every Marvel, I don't remember that scene for some reason, and I feel like I've seen everything Marvel related over the past.
Oh my god!
years.
It was Iron Man.
The first one?
Yeah, the first one.
Okay.
Was it actually the Iron Man 1?
Your favorite Marvel movie?
Oh no! Spoiler alert! God. Are you sure that that's the one?
I think so, right?
Hold on.
Oh no! That's the Hugh Hefner one.
Yeah, the Hugh Hefner and the Larry King ones are the. What is it?
I could have sworn that one was it. Oh my god, guys, we're having some technical difficulties.
Okay. Yes, Chives, you're gonna have to get back to us on that one.
Or if
it'll
pop
up in our minds.
Comment below because we probably won't find it before the end of the cast.
Yeah, we probably won't. We're gonna come back to that.
You're probably sitting there screaming at us because I know I do that thing when I listen to the podcast. I'm like, it's that movie.
If we weren't in a podcast right now, we'd be able to tell which one it was.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we're gonna figure that one out, and then we're gonna come back to that whenever Chives gets back to us. But I did want to ask you. So obviously, all of us being like fans of games and movies, media, entertainment, I mean, obviously comics, and now we're obviously talking about Stan Lee. We all read comics as a kid, right? Like,
yes.
You guys had comic books.
Yeah,
Luch, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, all right. So, what's your first memory of reading comics? Like, what's the first one that you can remember, like reading, loving, like able to like have your hands on?
Luch,
either one of you.
Well, the first one that I can remember actually reading was an older Teen Titans comic book, like the really old art style. My mom bought some from an estate sale, and she just had like just a wardrobe full of these things because she thought they were worth money. Unfortunately, they weren't worth too much, but
they weren't.
No, they weren't. But I mean, they probably were now. I mean, I was like 12, maybe.
Yeah.
So, but they were like Teen Titans, and she had some of like the old Spider-Man, like the not like the first edition, but like the new rendition, like first and second editions, which weren't worth too much. But I like the Teen Titans ones the most. I don't know why. I've always been a super big fan of Cyborg. So I've always, and Starfire looks like she's in like her 40s.
In the comics?
Yeah, in the comics, man. She always looks super old.
Starfire?
Yeah, I always thought so. You didn't think so?
I don't know. I never read the Teen Titan comics. I always...
and then, I mean, now look at...
I'm old enough to be your dad, so...
Now there's a new Teen Titans that's just called Titans. It's going to be like rated R. Or like, what is going on with that?
Oh my goodness.
They're trying to like make it like super edgy, and I don't know.
That's what it needs to be now to be a Marvel movie, man.
I guess so. Before you go with your comic, Chives is amazing. I just wanted to give a shout out to Chives because without Chives, we would never have any information just fed to us like this. He just slid this right in front of me here. Even though he's a sentient being, I just get a piece of paper. Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer was the cutscene where he tries to get into the gala, and the bouncer says, "Okay, buddy, get out of here." And
that's funny.
That's where that one's from. And that one's
I had totally
it's great.
Written that one out of my brain.
And it again, Luch, that goes back to you because he actually refers to him as Stan. He refers to himself.
I'm not gonna lie, I never
Lee.
really liked the Fantastic Four, so I don't even think I've seen the
I mean, and that's fine. That's fine. But he does refer to himself as Stan Lee.
Well,
and
again,
I think there is one other one in like an animated.
Oh, but hang on though. They didn't know he was Stan Lee. First of all, right? Remember, because he kicked him out.
No, but I'm just saying, like, he's being self-aware of his character. Is what
but I think like what Luch was saying in the beginning was it was the first time like that Deadpool
was like that Stan Lee.
Like, shut up, Stan Lee. Any character like main Marvel.
But that's also false too, because in Mallrats, what's his face's character? Stan Lee comes up to him and sends and literally I think it's Mallrats. I'm pretty sure 100% it's Mallrats. He walks up to him and he's like looking in the window and he like gives him the little like analogy and he's like, well, Green Goblin ended up showing up and destroyed the whole thing, but you get the idea. And then he just like turns to him and he's like, oh my God, you're Stan Lee. Yeah. So boom.
Yeah.
And remember how dope he looked back in the day too? How much of like a baller he looked back? Like he looked like the most like the most interesting man in the world.
Yeah.
I only drink Dos Equis.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Josh, what about you? Comic books.
Oh man. So I gotta take you on a journey for this.
Let's do it.
Because
take me, Josh.
Like, because I mean, you guys have known us podcasts like 8 hours worth of our lives. Like I'm 33 years old. There is a long history of what makes Josh. A lot of that starts with my upbringing and the fact that I was banned from watching most TV, that I was not allowed to play any violent video games whatsoever. All that kind of stuff, very off limits. Anything with magic, sorcery, anything like that was the devil's work, and I was not allowed to ever put my hands on it, see it, do anything like that.
Same thing.
I was homeschooled growing up, so it was easier to kind of keep track of me for the most part and make sure that I never did those things. But we did make bi-weekly trips to the local library. And the local library had a magazine section that had comic books in it. And I remember going and sneaking over and finding the comic books. And so like which ones I started with, I couldn't tell you, other than I know that there was always a lot of X-Men because I got into X-Men first. Seeing like all that kind of stuff, like the covers with Wolverine slashing and oh my goodness, like I just became obsessed with that stuff. So yeah, every time that we went to the library, I'd sneak over, grab some comic books, and then walk into like a different book section and just sit over there and read and everything. So yeah, that was my initial intro into comics.
You know, there's probably like the percentage of parents out there that try to keep their kids away from that kind of stuff. It always fails.
Well, that's
it
the
never
thing, though,
fully succeeds.
No, when you suppress something like that, all it does is make them even more interested in it. They're like, oh, well, why am I being kept from this? Why? Like, maybe it's good. I mean, suppressing completely isn't like the kid doesn't understand. But if you like show them and be like, look, this is why this is not good because X, Y, Z, you know? And
because I mean, that's the thing. Like, you know, a lot of things get suppressed, but you don't go chasing after all of it. You just kind of find which ones that you're like, oh, this one's not as bad. Like if I watch, you know, or play a violent video game or read a comic book, I'm not going to go out there and kill somebody, you know, or something like, so knowing that makes it not seem so bad. But then, you know, I see on TV where a heroin junkie overdoses and it's like, okay, yeah, that's really bad. I'm going to stay away from that.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah, for sure.
Josh was that kid who made Wolverine hand blades from aluminum foil and went out into the backyard and started flashing up some
Hell yeah. Who didn't do that?
When his parents were gone, and then they would come home and see what he was doing and be like, the devil has possessed my son.
Like, no,
beat him with the Bible.
Cat. Meow.
No, meow. So for me, actually, my comic book.
Hold on, Josh. Did we ask Jack what his favorite comic book was? Yeah, he just suddenly started talking about.
Well, we weren't even asking about favorite comic books. I think we were asking about the origin of our love for comic books.
Yeah, Luch. So
point of the story is Jack. All right. As through the history of this podcast goes, you are not allowed to speak unless spoken to, sir.
It's funny how that works.
But being a contingency, you may tell us the origin of your comic book fantasies.
So let me take you way back, a long time ago, when I was a little child.
Yes.
As most young people are children. I read a lot of books. I read a lot, like novels, anything I could get a hold of. And just like Josh, we went to the library a lot. So we go to the library and come back with all kinds of books. I was in a reading club for school, which I don't know, Josh, do you remember? You were homeschooled, so probably didn't have the same thing. But like the Scholastic Fair was every semester, and like one in the fall and the spring, they had this like whole book thing, and you can go buy books, and you basically, so I think it was every 7 or 8 books you read, you got a little stamp. So every book you read, you got a stamp, and then every 7 you got a free personal pizza from Pizza Hut.
Yeah, the personal pan pizza from Pizza Hut.
Hell yeah.
Guys, you're not that much older than me. I'm very well familiar with the Scholastic Book Fair thing.
Hey, I just like you know what? I just like to treat you like a child, so that's why I do that.
Thanks, Dad.
So the Scholastic Fair, right, and the Pizza Hut Club and all that, right, and that at the time when you got the pizza with the pan pizza, you got a comic book.
Oh,
and so I was getting like these awesome comic books that were exclusive, like through Pizza Hut, and that was like, it was all X-Men at the time. So I don't know if it had anything to do with like the cartoon that was out on TV or what it was, and they were like legit comics. So my very first comic book experience was these comics that I would get from my pan pizzas that I was reading. I was just reading a ton of books. I was just reading one after another. So I was redeeming like, a free pizza, once or twice a month almost when I was in school.
Yeah.
And remembering Wolverine and Jubilee, Cyclops. And so like the X-Men were my first, superhero that I was really exposed to, superheroes, I should say. And I just remember, reading them and then reading them over again and reading them over again, just keep, and even though I wasn't allowed to like watch like rated R movies or, play video games too much. When it came to reading, my reading level was so far like advanced for my age that I just was reading anything, like literally anything I could get my hands on. I was just reading.
Yeah.
And so that's literally where I started reading comics, was through the Pizza Hut.
Back in 1993. Is
that when it started? Thanks, Travis.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
No,
so
see, what I really wonder now is I would not put it past my mother to give us the pizza, but
and then
to throw the comic books in the
yeah.
trash or something like that, because I never once got my hands on any comic book from that.
And replace it with the Book of Psalms.
No, but what I was able to do when I got a little bit older was at the library, there's actually novels of the different Marvel characters. I mean, I remember reading multiple like 400 to 600 page novels on Spider-Man or Venom or something like that, that, had no pictures or anything. So it was definitely not a comic book, but it was still really fun stories.
Yeah.
Josh, is that where you saw your first adult video too? Was that the library?
No.
No, but he did go to the photography section where they had books on books on books of photography, where you could see all sorts of forms of.
His mind was blown as a kid.
Spend the night party at a friend's house. We watched Hulk Hogan's Thunder in Paradise, I think is what it was called. What was that movie rated?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
It was so awesome.
Was that the first? Was that the first time you saw boobs?
I think so. I'm pretty sure. I was only like 11.
Oh no! So, you didn't even know what they were. What do you mean?
What? 11, dude.
Just kidding.
What? IMDb gives it a 5.6 out of 10. No.
Those are facts. No, those are facts. It's not as good as you're remembering it, I promise.
Whatever. We need to do like a watch party with that.
Yes. Speaking of Thunder in Paradise.
Yes.
What's each of your favorite Marvel movie?
Oh man. This one.
If you had to pick one. Say you had to pick one Marvel movie to watch as a representation of all of the Marvel movies and that would be the only one you could watch, which one would it be?
I think I would have to choose Guardians.
Okay.
Guardians
Solid
1?
choice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so it's not a series. It has to be one movie.
No, yeah, one film.
Okay.
I think Guardians blew my mind. If we're allowed to expand on
please.
reasoning behind everything, I went into that movie with zero expectation because I didn't know anything about Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, same.
Just growing up, we've seen time after time after time where there was a couple really good hit movies and then someone would do a bootleg movie to try copying it and it would just be just utter trash.
Yeah.
That's what I was actually expecting Guardians to be, because there had been all these really good Marvel movies and all of a sudden it's like, hey, here's a superhero group. We don't know anything about them. So I didn't even pay any attention to it whatsoever. It came in theaters, went out of theaters. I later on saw it. I don't even remember how I ended up getting to watch it. It like came on like Showtime or HBO or something like that. And I watched it and I was like, holy crap, it blew my mind. Every single character in it was fascinating. Like oh my God, I just loved them. I mean, I loved Star-Lord. Drax was fantastic. Such a great, odd, funny character, the perfect sense of humor. The combo of Rocket and Groot was that perfect buddy cop comedy, kind of feel. Like that little duo between them was great because it was able to pull a lot of the stuff that we loved about Star Wars and Chewbacca not being able to really talk, but that you still knew him and kind of got to feel what he was doing. They did a perfect job of that with Groot without making it feel like that they were copying Chewbacca.
Yeah. No, for sure.
And then freaking Ronan?
Ronan? Yeah.
Ronan. Yeah. That dude was just flat out awesome. Like carrying around that giant mace, he was just a freaking cool dude.
It was definitely a good villain.
So that is my, God, when you're talking about Marvel, there's so many that could go back and forth. But I think at the end of it all, that's what I'd have to choose.
Nice. Yeah, that's definitely a solid choice. Real quick, if you had do you have one moment in the Marvel, like the past, the big Marvel arc, right? Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Do you have like a moment that sticks out for you? Putting you on the spot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I would have to say, but this isn't from a Guardians. This is from Thor Ragnarok. When the piss off ghost, that scene will never not make me laugh. Every single time I see it, I laugh hysterically. And it also makes me worry that not everyone is catching how funny that is.
I know.
It upsets me that people are watching it and not realizing how incredibly genius that joke is.
Yeah. Piss off ghost.
Piss off ghost.
Wait, what part's that from?
From Guardians 2.
That's when.
From 2. I was thinking Guardians 1.
No. That is from Thor Ragnarok.
Thor
is locked in the jail, and then you have Loki like phases in there and is talking to him, and they're kind of arguing back and forth, and then Loki disappears like through the wall, and then Korg jumps and kicks the wall. Piss off, ghost.
Those two have a great relationship too. What was the bug guy's name?
Meek,
right? Yeah. I didn't know you had that in you, Meek. I accidentally stepped on him.
You're going to start a revolution.
Yeah.
Yes, great. No,
is Korg a superhero?
No.
Is he ever in a Marvel?
Dude, he's just a rock dude.
No, he's just a random rock dude. I didn't know if he was
he's related to the guy from. He's related to the guy from Neverending Story.
Gotcha. For sure.
Anyways, all right, Luch. What about you? What's your favorite Marvel movie?
So any Marvel movie will always be the first one, only because I love the hero's journey. I love it. Like for instance, Spider-Man 1, not my favorite movie, but how he gets his powers and utilizes them and starts to understand.
Are we talking? Are we talking? Tobey Maguire Spidey?
Yes.
Spider-Man 1? Okay.
Yeah. So I like the hero's journey, like him, like the hero leaves his village, gets the magic sword, and learns to be a badass. I love any movie that has that in there. But the one that really does it for me is Doctor Strange.
Oh man, yeah, absolutely.
Because one, just like the journey to the what was it called again? The place that he does his training at. What didn't it have like a certain word?
Oh yeah. He goes to something Camisset. What the hell is it called? Is it called Camisset? Chameleon.
But he goes and then he goes to this school for learning like the ability to mess with, you know, space, time, physics in all way. And then just like the way, because in like Doctor Strange, you know, they just made him seem like a magician, right? Yeah. Right. Yeah. So like, you know, he had glyphs and he would make stuff move. But in that one, like with the way he does his hands, it's it's Marvel's version of like Naruto. Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So the way he does the hand things, just it was awesome, and how he learns to use it, and then him studying and, you know, becoming a master of it, and then finding the eye was all great. And then while the ending wasn't, you know, like it just kind of had like a stop to it, how we beat the last boss was great.
Dope. Yeah,
it was fantastic.
It's Kamar-Taj, by the way. Kamar-Taj. Yes. Thanks, Travis.
Thank you.
Yeah, so yeah, Doctor Strange is definitely excellent. I mean, if Nicole were here, I think she would probably go with that as well. She really liked that movie.
Yeah, that one.
And not to mention,
really, really good.
The master actress, that was the witch from Narnia. I forget what her name was.
Oh yeah.
That was great.
She's in a ton of stuff. She's in Lord of the Rings as well.
And then what's the Asian guy? The Guardian of the Books.
Oh yeah,
Wong.
Yeah, I love Wong. Yeah. Oh, and then Doctor Strange had one of the best after credit scenes.
Oh yeah, with Thor.
Tilda Swinton.
Yeah.
That was
Tilda Swinton. Yeah, thanks, Travis.
Swinton.
Travis is just coming up all across the board.
I know, right?
I did not Google that shit. I remembered it all of a sudden.
Whoa!
No,
Chives
he sent it.
Not a Google Chives. Hold on, Chives. He did not.
Chives sent it to me. He sent that to me. So as soon as I was saying Tilda Swinton, you said it. So you remembered it. Chives sent it to me.
Yeah.
But
so Doctor Strange.
Anyways, with like the ending credit scene with Thor and Doctor Strange, and Thor just visits them, and he's just like, because that was actually a part in Thor Ragnarok, wasn't it?
Yes.
Thor was in the beginning. Yeah.
Because has that ever happened before, where it was part of like a movie?
Well, it wasn't like actually a part of it. It was because it wasn't in the movie.
Yeah, it was. It was in the movie.
Like that scene?
I'm pretty sure that scene was in the movie. Because that's the part where he goes to visit him to find out.
It is, but I don't think they have that exact scene. They're just talking.
I think they have that.
I'd have to watch it again.
We'd have to get Chives on that. But anyways, just that ending credit scene just tickled my tummy with Thor just looking at his beer glass. He was like, "Will you stop doing that?" It was great. Yes. And Doctor Strange being one of the most OP Marvel characters of all time.
Yeah, for sure. What about a moment in the past three phases, right? So, you know, we've seen phase 1, phase 2, and we're about to see the culmination of phase 3. So what's your favorite Marvel moment?
Favorite Marvel moment. Now this is not from Doctor Strange. This can be from anyone, right?
Yeah, and it's entire. Yeah.
So one of my favorite Marvel moments was when Captain America went to go rescue the soldiers after he was tired of being a poster boy.
Okay. Whenever he just
in the first one when he was like, he's like, I'm going to go rescue the soldiers, and then they come back and he's all like, yeah, I just rescued 2,000 soldiers. What of it?
Yeah,
that's pretty
really
awesome.
Good.
See that like the first Captain America movie was like the entire thing was like the hero's journey.
Exactly,
yeah, for sure.
But again, it was the movie was okay to me. It wasn't like the
first Cap. Yeah, I mean the first Captain definitely is not the best of all the three Captain America movies, but it's awesome. It's classic.
It is, but like
Red Skull is an amazing villain. Red Skull is awesome.
Yeah,
and that is the first time he fights him is during that part 2 where he goes and then he's like Red Skull reveals himself.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
that's just it's really good. I've been trying. So like I like going last in these things because I get this entire time to think of my answers, and I'm just like trying to narrow down what my
You like throwing Josh under the bus first.
Yeah, of course. Just put him on the spot and just be like, all right, what's the answer? No, so my favorite it's just really hard, because if you want to be like, if you want to look at it objectively and be like, okay, well, like, what's your favorite because of everything that goes on? You'd have to go with like Infinity War, because there's just so many characters. There's just so many things going on, and you see everybody all at the culmination of phase 3, and it's just all coming together, right? Every movie, the point of them all pointing forward is all to get to this place. And so it was just so awesome to see every character like interacting, whether it's Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, whether it's, Thor and Black Panther, or Thor and Groot. Like, there's just so many, Rocket, and just so many different aspects to the whole movie.
Yeah.
But if you have to go with favorite as in classic, the first Iron Man started the entire arc, right? It starts off, you had the old Hulk movies, and neither the first two, they really just didn't do anything for anybody. And even though they're in the Marvel universe, they kind of just like get overlooked, right?
Yeah.
The Iron Man 1, and seeing his journey from being this like arrogant, self-centered like jerk selling weapons, to being completely humbled to the point of death, to using his brain to get himself out of the situation, and then turning himself into this person that can do everything and not use all his money and knowledge for good. The way that it was done, the way that it was filmed, just, I mean, it's arguably, even with Avengers and Infinity War and all that, it's arguably still the best Marvel movie, in my opinion, to date. And I think you'd have to come up with a really strong argument to argue against it. And so that probably for me has to be my favorite. And again, I mean, I've always been an Iron Man fanboy, right? I always thought that I like kind of related the most to Tony Stark, his personality, his the way he like looks at things, and I've always related to him. Even going back, this is a throwback, Josh, when we first met, my persona on YouTube was always Mr. Tony Stark. I went by Mr. Tony Stark, to the point where Josh, whenever we first met, he called me Tony probably for the first year, probably 2 years.
You're saved in my phone as Tony.
Yeah. So I mean, I just kind of took on that persona, and that was from a little kid on. Iron Man was my favorite. So Iron Man 1 definitely is my favorite. My favorite movie. As far as a moment goes, though, it's really hard. It's really, really hard. I mean, there's so many like iconic. You can go funny. You can go serious. You can go sad. So, I mean, I don't even know where to. Honestly, where to start? It's just so hard to like grab one. Yeah.
I mean, like, I remember that scene at the end of the first Guardians where Star-Lord grabs the Infinity Stone, and just talking about it now gives me chill bumps over my entire body. It's such an amazingly powerful scene that every Marvel movie has multiple scenes like that.
Moments like that. Yeah. Like, I mean, even like looking at the one we just had, I mean, Infinity War, you have Spider-Man. I mean, the moment where Spider-Man's like dying, he's fading away in Tony Stark's arms. I mean, that's just like, you're just like, dang. So you have so many people that saw that and just like, oh, it just crushes you. Him saying, oh, I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark.
Dude, or even in Thor,
which has been memed of so, man.
Oh yeah.
In Thor Ragnarok, when Thor walks out into the gladiator arena and Hulk jumps out there,
and he's like, yes,
oh yes. It's like, I know this.
I know him from work.
Friends from work.
Yeah, or like in Civil War, whenever Winter Soldier and Iron Man and Cap are fighting, that whole scene is just so awesome. And then like Cap's on top, like pressing the shield into like Tony's chest, and he's like, you don't understand, he's my friend. And then Tony's like, so am I. Yeah. And it's just like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
Chill bumps all over.
Yeah. It's so there's so many like little moments like that. At the end of Iron Man 1, whenever he's at the press conference and he's supposed to say like, oh, this was just a blah, 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 this is experiment. And he just stands up and he's like, you know what? I am Iron Man. It's just too awesome.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I can. I don't know. I just listed off like 4. So
yeah, do you have a funny one? Right. A funny moment?
A funny moment? Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of those too. I mean, at pretty much the beginning of Guardians. Actually, you know what? That's my favorite funny. My favorite funny moment is Guardians 1 when they're like doing the whole first mission, and Jaimin Hanzu's character comes in, and he's gonna get arrested, and he's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, I'm Star-Lord, famous outlaw, and he's like, "Who?" And he's
or like, what about Spider-Man Homecoming when what's his name? Peter goes back to see Tony, and he's like, "Hey, I'm ready." And then he's like, "This is a test, isn't it?"
Yeah. Meanwhile, the press conference.
I'm not ready for the suit. And then he's like, "You're right, it's a test." And then what's her name comes out. It's like, "Where is he?" He's like, "He's not coming." He realized this was all a test.
That's amazing. So many funny good moments.
Or when he tries to hug Tony Stark in the back of the car, he's like, "I'm just getting the door for you, kid."
We're not there yet. Yeah.
Or when he shoots when he sneaks into his room and he shoots the thing at his door.
Yeah.
Well,
like, get this thing off of me. Or the trunk with the guy when he gets the info. He's like, "Hey man, can you like unbind me?" He's like, "Nah, it'll come off in 2 hours." He's like, "Man, I got some ice cream in the car."
Donald Glover's character. Yeah. All right. So real quick,
I could keep doing this forever because
I know.
We could do the whole like Spider-Man meeting Doctor Strange for the first time.
Oh, it's so funny. Hey, we're using our made-up names.
I'm Spider-Man.
That's so good.
So, hi, I'm Doctor Strange. Oh, we're using our made-up names. I'm Spider-Man then.
I know. That was good.
So funny. No, but continuing to move forward real quick. Fast fire. Luch, who's your favorite Marvel character?
Favorite Marvel character is going to have.
It's too late. We're fast fire. Got to pick one. You can only pick one.
It's going to have to be Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange, easy. Josh?
See, I don't want to fast fire this stuff, but I would say like, if deep down they could search my brain to figure out what the true answer is, I think to be the most honest, I'd have to go with Wolverine.
Wolverine, okay, nice.
I would say that I loved him so much more before the movies, and the movies have actually made me not like him as much that I've kind of drifted over into other characters. But growing up for the longest time, everything was Wolverine action figures, Wolverine poster, whatever I could get away with having a Wolverine, he was my dude.
Did you not like Hugh Jackman's rendition of Wolverine?
I don't think it was a Hugh Jackman issue as much as it was a writing issue, because the original 3, I mean, even I would say X-Men 1 was okay. X-Men 2 and 3 were pretty garbage. Once they went back to the first class were good, but they didn't really have Wolverine in them. The scenes that Wolverine was in those, he was perfect, because they would bump into him and be like, "Hey, and he's like, "Fuck off." And they're like, "All right, cool. We'll see you later." Like that was it. The very first, introduction to Wolverine in I think it was the very first X-Men movie where he's like cage fighting up in Alaska or something. Mm-hmm. That was super the cool awesome. Old school like Wolverine. But then I don't know, like I just kind of fell away from him in the movies. I don't know if I had a different picture in my head. I don't know. Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Wolverine. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely. As far as that goes, a lot of people really liked his character. A lot of people didn't. I mean, you could talk about Wolverine Origins, which was terrible.
Yeah.
That was the Japanese one, right?
Was it? Yes.
Yeah.
So for me, obviously, I already gave it away. Spoiler alert: Iron Man always has been. Yeah, Nicole seems to think that I have traits of Doctor Strange as well. Mm-hmm. But I have that like kind of.
But he has a full head ego. Of hair.
Oh yeah, because that's so yeah. Personality wise, She would think I'm a mix between the two.
And your sense of humor is like Drax.
Where everything just whooshes over my head.
If not, my reflexes are so fast I would catch it.
Yes. Why would I caress my finger across his throat?
Amazing. Yeah. So on the flip side of that, who's your least favorite, Josh?
Oh God. I don't know if I could really. I think I'd probably have to go with Cyclops.
Really?
Mainly because of growing up such a Wolverine fan. There was always that like love triangle between Wolverine, Jean Grey, and Cyclops. Cyclops was always the douchey one trying to get Jean Grey, while Wolverine was like the cool badass one that,
If you look at that objectively, though, if you do look at that objectively, Cyclops was like the good guy. Wolverine was like the bad boy trying to steal the girl, and Jean Grey was a hoe.
No doubt.
So if you actually look at that with like some non-rose tinted glasses,
I feel like even Marvel kind of knew it, because when Wolverine steals Cyclops' car and they're driving down the road and the radio turns on, and it's NSYNC playing.
Oh yeah,
like, oh God, like even they were making fun. Like that's kind of who he was made out to be. It was just
they definitely portrayed him as like as a dick, as they said.
Yeah, where Wolverine was the the badass of the group.
Either way, Jean Grey was still a hoe because she's dating Scott and still,
oh yeah,
going after Logan.
Wolverine I don't know, much better.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. So Cyclops, that's a good one. Luch, what about you?
You only had 46 minutes and 55 seconds to think about it.
I know, right? But like the only thing about like the worst one. Okay. All right. So my least favorite one has to be what's his name? Mr. Fantastic.
How you gonna hate on my boy Mr. Fantastic?
Only because he's the most boring.
Why? He can stretch around anything. He can.
No, not his superpower. Like his character was just so boring. You don't think so?
Super smart, man. Come on. He's a genius.
Yeah, I didn't watch the new Fantastic Four to really be able to base anything off of that. But I would have to say, from the ones and the stuff that I have seen, when you watch the scenes in like the Avengers that have, Iron Man and Hulk, just basically doing their scientist stuff, like they make science look really freaking cool. And I don't think Mr. Fantastic ever did that.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So I could see what he's saying there. I mean, especially when you really go through Marvel characters on how many freaking cool, badass people that there are. Yeah. Like, there's a fine line.
No, yeah, for sure. It's I might get a little bit of hate for this because
it's Black Panther.
No, it's
oh my god.
No. I actually think Black Panther is actually badass. The real Black Panther, the real Black Panther. Like, the movie was good. I won't hate on the movie. We won't talk about that right this second.
Yeah.
But Black Panther, the character was super awesome. When they introduced him in Civil War, I was like, oh my god, he's badass. Just like this dude, just like running super fast with the vibranium suit and all. Anyway.
And they did a great job on his aesthetic too, by the way.
They did. They did. He looks great.
They really did him justice.
Least favorite character, for her sheer uselessness and the way that Marvel continues to play the fact that she's just a good-looking female and that's the only thing she has going for the series, is Black Widow.
Yeah.
What the hell is she doing with extraterrestrial superheroes and space beings?
I almost said Clint. I was like,
him too. The pair of them, like, go be detectives or police officers somewhere. Right? Like, what are your powers?
So she's just sitting there beating up a bunch of aliens with flying machines and laser guns, and she's just able to shoot out her little steel tripwire and go balls deep, literally.
Okay. Well,
to be on the same team with someone as insanely insanely powerful as Hulk or Thor, who's a god.
Yeah.
Like, and then
what is she doing? Honestly, she's over here taking care of like one. She's like literally hand to hand combating one alien right over in the corner. She's like fighting. It takes her 5 minutes to subdue this one alien, and Thor over there just like literally called down lightning from heaven and just like destroyed the entire battlefield. And he looks over at her and she's like, "I got him," and he's like, "Nice job, good, cool."
Do you want to take my bone to pick for the week?
Yes, actually, this is great. This is perfect.
It's time to pick some bones.
It is definitely time to pick some bones.
Totally
I want to dissect the fact that I am super pissed off with the lazy ass writing that they have sometimes in Marvel. We get caught up with the fact that it's flashy, it's superhero. We are watching this movie and we forget about the fact that we overlook things that like literally make no sense, right? Yeah. Okay, so this is a perfect example. My least favorite character being Black Widow, being somebody like Hawkeye, who has no business being on a team with the rest of the Avengers. Then there's an argument that can be made for different pieces, whatever. But like even Winter Soldier, who is still like it's mostly human, he has a badass metal arm and he's super strong. Right, like
he's essentially the same as Captain America, right? In terms of power.
He's like a super soldier. Yeah, exactly. So like you have all these arguments for all these people, but then like you throw in a guy like Hawkeye who is just good with the bow and arrow, right?
He's super good with a bow.
Cool. Yeah, he's like Bullseye.
Oh, and then when what's his name? When Loki takes over his mind, right? And then all of a sudden he's this god level tier person who's the biggest thorn in their side that entire movie.
Yeah,
able to take down the entire spaceship floating ship by himself.
Oh my god! And so like you have this lazy. I mean, and that goes back to like we just need fillers. We need somebody that's like a stay at home dad. We need a girl that's that can be like a seductress kind of but still like badass and can fight. So you have that kind of thing. But then all right, so let's push it further. So my real bone to pick and why I'm taking over the bone to pick this week is in Avengers, right? You have this great culmination of phases 1 and 2 into 3 coming all together. All of our heroes are fighting Thanos, and he wants to wipe out half the universe and yada yada. All right, my real bone to pick comes down to the scene where they're fighting on his home planet. They have this plan, they have it in place. They're going to do A, B, and C, and then you have so it's like this is like twofold. You have Star-Lord who has him right there. If they can pull the gauntlet off and end the conflict, it's over. And he just gets pissed because he killed his girlfriend. Okay, great. I understand that's like they're pointing that like little emotional like pivot right there. He wants to act emotionally. I don't know somebody that has superpowers that's half god. He's a demigod or whatever. That is going to as hurt as he may be like, you know what? The universe isn't worth the fact that I need to shoot this guy in the face. Because I'm pissed. Like, I'm sorry, he doesn't do that. In no scenario does he act that way whenever they're literally about to save the universe.
Spider-Man literally had it off of his hand.
Off of his hand. Like, it's not going to happen. It's part 2. There are so many other scenarios where they win that fight. They used a tenth of what they could do. Yeah, okay, Thanos is like he's like throwing planets, he's doing this, he's doing that. Doctor Strange has the time stone. He can literally open portals and send half of Thanos through the portal and cut off his arm like he did with the stupid guy in New York.
Yeah.
Like he literally cut his hand off. And his one hand was in New York and the other his body was like in some Arctic dimension.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
and when Thanos is fighting, he doesn't even use the stones literally on them. He only uses it on the surrounding things. Remember when he first fought Drax or when he fought the Guardians? He literally turns them
into like butterflies or whatever.
And papers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you serious right now? Like, Doctor Strange was literally the only one who had a fighting chance against him.
Yeah.
If it was one-on-one. Like, even Iron Man. Like, Iron Man's nanosuit, yeah, but, like, again, the Reality Stone, Iron Man stuff is just built with, human-made things. It's not like it's, godly creation.
That's what I'm saying. And so you're telling me that they sat around and made up this plan, and they had that little funny scene where, like, Iron Man's, like, has this plan, and Star-Lord's like, why don't why don't I do the plan so that it would be better? And it's like, okay, you're the one that like literally cost everybody their lives. So like, shut up, just sit there and let the adults talk. And so then they come up with this plan. Doctor Strange looks into the future, sees 14 million different scenarios, and only sees one that they win. And you're telling me that one is where they don't cut off his hand and send him into another dimension and just keep the gauntlet where they are? Like, come on.
Oh no, you know that the original movie would have been like, all right, so I went through 14 million different scenarios and there was only one chance we could have won. And then Tony Stark's like, yeah, tell me what it is. And he's like, well, that chance flew by when he decided to punch him in the face. That was the only chance we had. That's gone now. It's over. Bye, fools. I'm out.
So my bone to pick is the fact that sometimes as fans, we're blinded by the fact that they can write everything out very lazily and not logically. And I swear we've talked about this almost every single episode with movie writing logic. It comes down to the end of like, this is not really how these characters would act. This is not really what they would do. If given the chance to save the universe, these people would put everything they could into making that plan sure it was 100%. Like if Doctor Strange saw these possibilities, saw the one that this is the one that they won. So you're telling me that the actual ones that were logical, that would have separated Thanos from the gauntlet, weren't ones that they win? Like, come on. I don't buy it. I'm sorry. Like we saw him do the whole portal hand thing in the beginning of the movie. He literally did it. Yeah. He literally sent the guy through the portal, closed it, cut his hand off. Like, you're telling me that wouldn't have worked? Because obviously with this writing, Thanos wasn't going to use the stones on them anyway. He was just going to, I'm going to grab this planet.
To the viewers too. Like they always include something in the beginning that might happen in the end. Like, so people, I don't know if you guys are thinking like, oh, is this how they defeat Thanos? You know, cutting off his arm and then sending him but no, that didn't happen. And then Thor smack crashing his new badass axe into his chest, standing there for 15 seconds until Thanos looks up at him and goes, should have aimed him for that.
Yeah. You're telling me that you're telling me that Thor's never, like, this guy, he said, like, at the beginning, that's another thing. He told Star-Lord he's killed thousands of enemies and he's fought all these people and Thanos won't be his last and yada yada. Okay. And when you killed those other enemies, did you like forget where their vitals were? Did you like forget what you had to do to like subdue? This guy has a gauntlet on his hand that can alter time, space, reality, and
a big shiny glowy.
And you're telling me that your new badass axe, you're going to hit him in the chest with it so he can still use his motor? At the very least, why don't you throw it at his arm and cut his arm off?
Yeah.
Like, or let Rocket take it.
Yeah. What the hell? I'm not a fan. Not a fan of lazy writing for the sake of extending out the story. And I get it, right? They want to make these like superheroes like make mistakes, feel vulnerable, feel weak. We're being told that the next movie
make the movie longer.
The next movie is going to be like, oh, you know, they're going to just keep getting more and more hurt, yada yada, whatever it might be. But like, even if they're making mistakes, I want it to be like logical. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, I can see why they did that. I can't see why Doctor Strange, in all of his infinite possibilities, would think that not sending him to another dimension with the time stone that he still had was a good play.
Okay, hold on. Side theory real quick. Do you think that the reason they didn't include the Hulk in this movie was because of lazy writing?
No. I have a theory about that.
You do?
Yes.
I think it's because of lazy writing.
I don't think it was. I do think that budgeting comes into play. It's very expensive to have Hulk CGI, like a ton. Mm-hmm. So I do think that part of that does play into it. But I actually think that Hulk wasn't actually the Hulk. I think that Loki's alive and Loki was playing Bruce Banner.
You think that Loki was Bruce Banner during the time of that movie?
Yes.
And what do you think Bruce Banner was doing?
Bruce was still off with Valkyrie because we never saw her. We never saw her and him for after Thor Ragnarok.
So you don't think that they just took Valkyrie out because of budget costs?
No. I think that Bruce Banner actually wasn't Bruce Banner. There's a couple clues that like lead you into that. There's a part where obviously he can't turn into the Hulk when he fights Thanos at the beginning as Hulk, he's nowhere as strong as
he gets
the real Hulk. He gets his ass beat by Thanos with one stone.
Yeah.
Okay. We're talking about the Hulk that's like supposedly the strongest being in the universe, right?
Yeah.
Gets his ass beat by Thanos with one stone, doesn't use any of his powers, really. Hulk doesn't do anything to him. Like, gets punched once and he's just out. Then later in the movie, when he's Bruce Banner and he's in Wakanda with Shuri, Shuri's like, why didn't you just XYZ? And Bruce is like super confused and he's like, yes, we didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Bruce is one of the smartest people on the planet.
And they're trying to remove the
Vision. Exactly, from Vision. Yeah.
Part.
Bruce is one of the smartest scientists on the planet. What do you mean you didn't think of that? Of course you thought of that. Like, if that was really Bruce, thought of that. That's a cool
theory. It's interesting. I'm curious as to where it goes.
I think that whenever you see Loki actually, like, hypothetically die at the beginning, I don't think it's him. I think it's a clone. I think that he was the Hulk the whole time, and that's why we saw him like get his ass beat. And I think we're going to end up seeing it come back. Bruce is going to come back from wherever he is with Valkyrie, and Loki's going to be like, "Ta-da! Sorry." And I think that he stayed as Bruce too, because think about it. He's a bad guy. He's one of the ones that gave up the Tesseract. Like, he gave him the stone, gave Thanos the stone. Like, it's his fault. So if he reveals himself, he's been like playing nice guy for a little while, but like, are they really gonna, not
also
kill him or whatever?
So apparently this is a pretty popular theory. And a couple points that also bring up is that I just realized throughout the movie is that Bruce knew a lot about the Infinity Stones during the movie, and that he knew a lot about what Doctor Strange was up to with the eye as well.
I need to go back and watch it now.
And Bruce also recalls everything from when he was the Hulk on the ship, which every time he gets out of the Hulk, he never remembers.
That I like that theory. I like it a lot, but to me, what makes me curious here is with the if Valkyrie and Hulk aren't there, what are they off doing? Like, did they get separated and they're trying to make their way back to it, but they're just having issues, or are they on I don't feel like they would be on like a side mission or anything, because I don't feel like they know enough about Thanos.
Maybe it was due to budget cuts. Maybe they're going to be like, oh, we went to go search for something, then we realized all this stuff was happening and we came back. Type of thing. Maybe this was a clever way to keep it.
I don't know. I feel like they had so many things in that movie already that throwing in a Hulk isn't adding to it all that much, But I mean, that's just me personally. I don't feel like they're going, oh, money wise, I don't know if we can handle doing this or whatever. It just, to me, that doesn't seem like something a powerhouse like them does. Not in one that already has a million things going on.
I know, but you never know though, because it never really did give an explanation as to why they're gone. They normally like to not include that. Like with Ant-Man and Hawkeye, they were like, they quit. But obviously, Ant-Man has his own movie after that.
Yeah. Well, they didn't really say that they quit, right? Like Hawkeye said,
they said that they retired. He said they retired.
No, he said that he was with his family, and Ant-Man. He was like, oh, well, he was off doing something, and then you see what he was actually doing in Ant-Man 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they said
he wasn't retired. He wasn't retired though. He was where they was working.
But Jack, I was saying a couple points from your theory before is that apparently this is a pretty popular theory now. Chives bring up some points to kind of back up your theory a bit, because I haven't heard this one before. So a couple of the points that they said is that Bruce was entirely out of character that entire movie.
Yeah,
pretty much, and that he knew a lot about the Infinity Stones, a lot. Far too much than him, like during the time in the Avengers, like one with Loki and them finding the Tesseract and him and Iron Man going through it. They still hardly knew anything about it. Mm-hmm. And it's not like Bruce spent a lot of time with Vision to begin with to know a little bit more about him. But another theory or another thing to that is that Bruce never remembers anything when he gets out of the Hulk.
Yeah.
But he remembers the entire fight as the Hulk after he goes back to being Bruce.
Which is why he says that he can't go back into being Hulk.
But
right?
Yeah, but and it's just like
he uses that as an excuse to why he can't turn into Hulk again, but like he's not even supposed to remember that he like what he did when he was Hulk. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you could be right, but like, why do you think they took him away? Like, what kind of secret mission are they out doing? I think it's for budget cuts.
No, I mean, I'm not saying that like there's a specific I just think that that's where the story is. Like, I think that that's where the writing is, that they wrote it in as like, that's not actually Hulk. And there's going to be like this huge surprise.
Mm-hmm. And then you think maybe like, Captain Marvel and all them will come. Maybe they're out finding Captain Marvel. I don't know.
No,
yeah.
I mean, to me,
or
I don't feel like they knew enough about Thanos when they were on the ship. I mean, because like Thor seems to be like dealing with Thanos, almost for like the first time. That I don't think that immediately Hulk and Valkyrie would go, oh crap, this guy's strong, let me go do that. No, it's Hulk and Thor are gonna be like, oh yeah, we can easily beat this dude.
Now, did you think that they knew? Because obviously in Thor Ragnarok, they're all seen on the ship together, right? Yeah. At the end, and then Thanos' ship pops up.
Yes,
and then they're gone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So did they escape through some kind of escape pod and then went somewhere? That's the only thing that kind of disturbs me about this theory.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think 100%.
But again, they could just
bulletproof. I don't think it's bulletproof.
Throw it out the window. They could just throw it out the window and be like, "Oh, what are you talking about? Thanos' ship was never at the end of Thor Ragnarok. What the hell are you talking about?" There's this whole 1 year gap between that, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, they probably won't go that far, but
no. Yeah. So as far as that goes, so like as far as like more theory, you have the end credits where Captain Marvel was summoned, so you're gonna have her show up. So her movie comes out just right before the Avengers 4. So like we're gonna see all of this. What do you think ultimately? Like, what do you think is going to be the resolution of Phase 3?
Maggot is going to come and he's going to defeat Thanos.
Who is?
Maggot.
Who's that?
Maggot, one of the greatest Marvel comic book heroes of all time that has never made it into a movie. The guy who expels worms from his belly button.
Oh, God.
That sounds awesome.
He's pretty cool. He's like a blue guy, like white, really long hair. Pretty much he's got like these two like beetle worm things that come out of his belly button. He's got two of them, but they shoot like acid beams and stuff like that. I was just kidding, but no, you know what? As me and Jack have had this discussion before, I think Adam Warlock's going to play a big part in it.
I think Adam Warlock will show up. Captain Marvel is going to play a huge part. She's one of the only people, in my knowledge, that can wield the gauntlet.
Yeah, I mean, but like for those of you who don't know who Captain Marvel is, she's pretty much the Marvel version of Superman.
Superman, yes,
pretty much.
But only cooler. And female. Then doesn't have a weakness from a stone.
Yeah, and and hold on though, like so to me, and this is one thing that's kind of bothered me about Infinity War since it all started, was the fact that I don't feel like the Marvel universe is ending after the Infinity War.
Of course it's not.
But the only way to bring them back is going to be getting their hands on the gauntlet and reversing either time or matter or reality or whatever it may be, using the stones to basically reverse everything bad that's happened. Yeah. And I feel like that's almost, I don't know if too easy is the word. Because I mean, of course, it's going to be a struggle to get to that point. But at the same time, like, it seems too cut and dry for an answer on how to fix everything.
Yeah. No, I definitely foresee us losing some of the main heroes for good. I think that, you have people on the chopping block like Tony, like Captain America, even Thor. You have these people that, their contracts are up with Marvel. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that aren't going to be playing the character anymore. There's been teasers of, like, for instance, Pepper Potts in Iron Man armor and the rescue armor. So, like, there's just these different things. And of course, you have all of the other characters, the newer characters that are going to pick up and can carry the series. Black Panther, Spider-Man, Captain Marvel.
But let's not forget, guys, the difference in the room here, right? Right. So we all know that the real hero of Avengers 4 is going to be Shazam. Because he all right, guys, he did not show up, okay, for just a random thing. I, for one, really hope they put him in the Avengers movie. It would tickle my day.
Shazam? You think?
Shazam. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, they literally made a movie. Did you see it coming? I didn't see a Shazam movie.
Shazam I knew that they were making it.
But he's also known as Captain Marvel, though, bro. That's the thing. He's one of the variants of Captain Marvel.
I know.
So, hey, man. Just saying.
But Captain Marvel is a DC character.
No, yeah, he is. But Shazam is also, what do you call it?
I don't know. Tell me. You tell me.
Wait, wasn't Shazam? Didn't he go from DC? Didn't he? Wasn't he Captain Marvel in DC and then went over as Shazam to Marvel?
Chives, we need some clarification on this.
Didn't he? Because he was known as Captain Marvel in DC. You're not wrong about that. There's two Captain Marvels. Captain Marvel being the lightning bolt guy in in DC. But then I thought he moved over to Marvel as Shazam because they already had Captain Marvel.
No.
Is that not what happened?
No, So the thing is that Captain Marvel. No, so Captain Marvel as Shazam is DC. They fight Black Bolt, Superman, like that whole deal. And actually Captain Marvel, that's the Marvel character, was also known as Miss Marvel. Not that I know of. Chives is going to have to give us. Going to have to give us.
All right, so we'll scratch that. Then we'll scratch that. We'll leave that alone. I thought I had something going. I thought that's what happened was that Shazam, one of the creators of Captain Marvel from DC, went over to Marvel, but they already had Captain Marvel, so they turned it into. I thought that's what happened.
Yeah, interesting. I'd have to look into that a little bit more because I know that the whole Captain Marvel, is the same. So basically, from my understanding, Marvel created Captain Marvel first. Was a Kree alien superhero, which is going to be Captain Marvel, and then later DC created a character named Captain Marvel, but couldn't call it Captain Marvel because of the infringement. So then they changed the name to Shazam.
Oh, is that what happened?
I believe so.
Well, there goes that theory. But
goes that theory.
Captain Marvel and Adam Warlock, the female version of Captain Marvel, are going to be the heroes of Avengers 4. I think.
Yeah, Captain Marvel definitely is going to be a huge part. Definitely going to play a big part. I think, again, like I said, we have all these heroes on the chopping block. But
I do think that there's going to be some animosity between Captain America and Captain Marvel, too, by the way.
Why?
Because obviously, Captain Marvel, I think there's going to be some leadership animosity.
I don't think so.
Captain America feeling oh man.
No, I don't think Captain America has the truest, purest heart. If somebody's going to come back and is more powerful than him and do a better job, he's going to just be all about it. He just wants to do the right thing.
He doesn't really have the purest, truest heart as we saw in Civil War.
Yes, he did. Everything he did was because of his friend, his love for his friend.
But not for the love of his country, America, bro.
He shook Thor's hammer more than anyone else was able to do.
He was the only one that made it flinch.
Oh my god! No, side note: one of the best parts in any Marvel movie when Thor is about to see him pick up the hammer in his face,
and his face just goes black. Yeah, and it's white. This is okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, no, I think we're going to lose a couple people. I think that the quantum realm is going to play a big part. Ant-Man is going to, play a big part. They're going to go back and forth in time. Doctor Strange is going to have to really do his thing with the time stone. I think that Captain Marvel wields the gauntlet. I don't know if it's going to be the gauntlet that was used and the destroyed one and they fix it, or if it's going to be the other hand, right? So with the gauntlet, it's a pair of gloves. The theory of, the one, you have the other. So whether or not they get another one, use the stones, I don't know.
Maybe she already has it. Like maybe the Captain Marvel movie will be how she obtains it.
Yeah.
And she's somewhere else now. And maybe Bruce and Valkyrie were trying to go find her. If they already knew it. Because we don't know if they know she exists or not.
Right.
They never said that. They were never like, who's Captain Marvel? Because they never mentioned Captain Marvel.
Which is just interesting because the Captain Marvel movie takes place in the 90s.
Yeah.
And it's way before, the first Avengers. And it's just like, for me, and that's just another part of my whole, lazy writing, bone to pick thing. It's like, you have this ultimate powerful being, right? That Nick Fury calls on in a time of the great need. Yeah. Half the universe is disintegrating into ash. And he calls this person with a specific pager, has a logo and everything, right? And he calls for it. Where the hell was he whenever the Earth was about to be destroyed by Loki and the
again, he did believe that they could win, but maybe the movie's going to be hopefully it's a hero's journey and how she gets her powers. I really hope that's what it is, obviously. But what I really hope happens is that she's gone somewhere at the end of Captain Marvel, right?
Yeah,
and she's like, if you ever need me, click this button, and it's a one-time thing because she could be somewhere completely far away and she can't go back immediately when she comes back to Earth. So, maybe he, trusted the Avengers to do what they were doing and didn't want to call on her.
They came really close to dying a lot of times.
Yeah.
Well, again, one of the times that it was a giant, town falling on the city due to Ultron.
That was going to destroy the whole planet, though.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that also happened in a moment. But you also got to understand this also happened in a moment. See, what happened right now is that half the world died. Half the universe died already. And so as he's disappearing, maybe he's like, oh shit, this isn't going to happen in a day. The world isn't going to be saved in a day.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right, maybe it's time to call her back. Because I doubt she can immediately teleport.
Yeah,
back.
Probably not. Even still, it's just like, I don't know. But none of the Avengers know that she exists. Like, she was the first person that was brought into the Avengers program.
It might have been her idea to start the Avengers. As she's leaving, she's like, we need more people to protect this planet. Go find them while I'm out there. And then maybe that's how the Avengers thing started.
Yeah,
maybe she's the one who invented it.
It's a good theory. Yeah, it's a good theory. I don't know. I mean, ultimately, like I said, we're gonna find out. I think we're gonna lose people. We're gonna, it's gonna be hard. It's probably gonna be hard to watch. But at the end, we're gonna get the people back that we lost. You have people that still have movies. You got Spider-Man. You have the Guardians. And so everything's gonna carry on. We're gonna be all right.
I just really hope they don't if they do travel back in time. I just hope it doesn't happen in the beginning. All right, let's rewind time and let everything else happen again.
No. Yeah.
That's what I hope doesn't happen. I hope if they do travel back in time, it's like an ultimate move type thing. Like, we're going to do this now. This is the perfect time for us to go back in this 10-second time frame and get this done.
Yeah.
Because I think Thanos is going to try to thwart them even now as his normal self. Because right now the gauntlet's useless, but he's still a threat.
Yeah, of course.
He was still able to rally an entire alien species behind his back, right? Yeah. So I think he's going to try to thwart them as they are now, because they are half as weak now. Half or I think almost a good amount, 60% of their team's gone, right?
Yeah.
At least some of the most important ones too. I mean, Scarlet's gone.
To be factual, 50% of the team.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. So 50% of the team's gone. So, I mean, and all of the powerhouses that can beat Thanos in one shot are pretty much gone. Right?
Why? You still have Thor.
Wait, did Thor live?
Yeah,
or did Thor disappear?
No, Thor lived.
Okay, so Thor could.
You have Iron Man, Thor, Doctor Strange, Rocket, Black Widow, Ant-Man.
But again, I think that's how Avengers 4 is going to take, or at least that's how a good writing wise would be. Thanos tries to thwart them from going back in time. Maybe he tries to find the second gauntlet himself. Yeah. Something like that. Because obviously, if he feels like they're going to go back and ruin it, then all of his work would have been for nothing.
Right, of course.
So I don't think he's going to be taking his vacation right now.
There's a theory that like the scene that we see at the end of Avengers Infinity War is actually the end scene of the final movie where he's defeated, but he knew that like he succeeded even though they went back in time and fixed it, and he's just going to go chill on his planet. That's
what?
Also
Explain
a theory.
That again? I don't understand.
So like at the very end of the movie in Infinity War, he's like on his planet, like at his
he sits down
at his house,
and he's like, all right.
Well, he's like, no, he sits down at the beginning, at the front of his house, like as the sun's coming up, which is the illusion of what he said he wanted to do. He's like, at the end of my work, I just want to sit and watch the sun come up. And there's the theory is that that's not what actually happened right then. That's what happens at the end, like after he's defeated. Like, because he like fulfilled his goal. He got the gauntlet, got all the stones, did it all, but then like they went back in time and fixed it. But he knew he still thinks that like that was the right thing to do.
Interesting.
But then I don't think Thanos would do that though, only because he's the type of guy that would be like, "How dare you ruin my work?" type of thing.
Yeah, but at the same time, you have to remember that he was truly heartbroken at the fact that he had to kill Gamora to get that. So if they go back in time and they bring her back and she's alive again, that might be like, yeah, okay, like I succeeded, I did it. But
I was really kind of hoping Gamora was going to come back like super evil, like as like a soul wraith or something, just like super like
crazy.
Yeah.
And then she just goes right for Star-Lord and is like, this is all your fault, and just like sucks his soul out.
That would have been amazing. But the only thing I could say is I hope they introduce, because Thanos, the way he is now, he can rally people, but he's only just, a beefhead right now.
Yeah.
He doesn't really have any. So I hope they introduce another one of Avengers villains, or, maybe Red Skull even comes back and is like, I'm done being this almighty, wisdom dealer guy.
Yeah, they could really pull a deep one though, and take us back into a part of the movie where Doctor Strange is actually playing a reality trick on someone, and like half the stuff it's like happening in Thanos's brain, but it's not actually happening in real life. We all of a sudden pop out of a certain timeline.
Yeah.
What's Marvel's evil league called again? Is it called the Legion of Doom?
No, that's DC.
Yeah. What's Marvel's is called?
Do they have one?
Yeah, they do. It's lead by Red Skull.
Hydra?
No, it's not. It's not Hydra. It's
yeah, I would say that's Red Skull's thing. Hydra.
No. But like they lead another one. Is it AIM? No, it's not AIM.
No, AIM was Shield's thing. Just as far as why Chives is trying to help you with that, there's a lot of other villains that they could go to besides Thanos that they could bring in, people that we haven't seen. Like what's his face? Like Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom was like super badass. Was like,
yes,
I don't know,
one of the most powerful evil villains out there.
Doctor Doom. I mean,
like those are the kind of people we want to see back. But he's still owned by Sony though, isn't he?
I don't know. Maybe probably because of the whole I don't know. Fantastic Four is still Sony. Yeah, I think so. Galactus though. Galactus like eats planets, dude.
Oh yeah.
Like that's. I mean, I don't know. And then you can go into like the dark realm, like Mephisto, Dracula, Dormammu.
Oh my god, bro! What if if they do like the dark realm type stuff, and then like maybe Thanos summons their alter egos and brings out like the Dark Avengers
from the other universe? That would be crazy.
Yes, dude, that would be a cool way to end the Avengers, bro.
I just don't feel like.
No, they're not.
I don't know. Marvel doesn't seem to be heading down that kind of path. I could see a movie like that happening in the future, and I would definitely invite that stuff in. But I don't get that feel.
I mean, Dracula is a Marvel character. I mean, Mephisto. They still got all these like dark side like villains and stuff that could be really, really cool in that kind of realm. But yeah, we're not going to see that. The only thing I could see would be Galactus on some scale, or even like at the end, showing that like Thanos again, like even though it's the end of phase 3 and that we lose, a lot of our main heroes and these new heroes are taking hold, that like Galactus is an even bigger threat and like they have to worry about dealing with yet another, like it's going to be an ongoing threat.
Oh yeah.
Now I wonder if they would actually go like the Dark Avengers thing if they ever did it and had like, because like Norman Osborn was the leader of it, and because they used Spider-Man Homecoming as like the Spider-Man in the Avengers. So I wonder, because Norman Osborn's still technically alive in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
So it would be cool if they did it. And don't forget, in Spider-Man Homecoming, Scorpion was introduced.
Yeah,
he was introduced in Scorpion, and then what was his name? Akihiro was in Wolverine Origins.
Right.
So you never know, man. It'd be cool.
It would be cool.
Saying.
It would be cool. Speaking of cool, I believe that Josh has a Artist of the Week.
Give me the jingle.
Artist of the Week.
Perfect. All right, I am mixing this up. I did a lot of thinking about who I wanted to do as the Artist of the Week for the Marvel, and what I decided to go with is the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack.
Yes,
the soundtrack, Volume 1, specifically for me, hits so freaking good. I will say, if you want, because it's going to be a long week, to do Volume 1 and Volume 2,
yes,
you can get them on Amazon, a bundle deal. But for you guys both saw Guardians, correct?
Oh, of course.
Oh my god, the
music is amazing.
The music in that it was integrated so well into the movie.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the other things that I'm trying to remember from the trailer. Like sometimes when like with Star Wars, they have their own soundtrack, their own music that
of course,
reminds you of that, and you will never hear that music. Like it's not radio music. It's not a band that's playing it or anything. That sometimes when movies have taken on and tried introducing popular music into them, it's like that takes me out of the fantasy world that I'm in.
Because you're hearing a hit song that you're
exactly.
Like, there's that
so
song.
It's like, okay, yeah. So it's like my brain's splitting up the two things. This one did a perfect job of integrating popular music in while still almost making me sink deeper into the fantasy world.
Yeah.
The music at the different times, the way that they really would play to, you had the fun scenes, you had the love scenes or the sad scenes, what all the music meant to him, where it all came from, like the backstory to it. The music played a huge part in Guardians. Maybe that's one of the reasons I love it so much.
I think, probably, because I think that the way that they did that music was like, usually music, like you said, as a soundtrack is playing over top, and the people in the characters in the movie aren't aware of it. But in this movie, you literally have him listening to that music. Like
he's got the
clicks the mixtape and he listens to it, and that's what you hear as well. So you're literally seeing the scenes unfold to the music that he's hearing in his head. And I think that that's why you get super immersed into it. Mm-hmm. Right. And that's why it pulls you in more, because the music isn't just the soundtrack. It's literally what's going on in that scene.
Exactly. And to me, it was just so good. And songs that, generally, I mean, with me liking metal most of the time, that's how I wish metal would be, influencing everything. Yeah. But these were songs that I generally wouldn't go and listen to on my own. But when they were in the movie, they fit the scene well. And at this point, I love them. I love listening to the soundtrack. Yeah. I do it all the time. So, that's why that is my recommendation for this week. Go out and listen to Guardians Volume 1, Volume 2.
Excellent choice. An excellent choice for Artist of the Week, even though that's various Artists of the Week.
Exactly.
I like it. I like the choice.
Can I say one more thing?
Go ahead.
Sorry, this is back to the theory. Do you guys, just one thing. Do you guys know Marvel Boy?
No.
So Marvel Boy is the same species as Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, right?
Okay.
and his name is Novar.
Yes.
He joins the Avengers, and it becomes one of the main Avengers. He looks like Captain Marvel, but more male and has like white hair.
Okay.
One thing being, he joins them later on, kind of in like, and then I believe he's in one of the fights with Thanos. But maybe Adam Warlock and Captain Marvel taking a place where they have a son.
Oh,
just saying.
It's out there. It's fun to realize like how many different Marvel people we've forgotten about or didn't even know existed. I mean, when I played the Lego Marvel game, which if you guys haven't played that, it's fantastic. You can unlock like 250 different Marvel characters. That's where I learned about a lot of my Marvel was playing that game with the kids.
Love that game.
But yeah, there was so many different people that I didn't even realize existed or that I got to learn. It was like, oh, that's this person. Okay, I know I've heard that name before, but I didn't realize who they were. Or they seem cool in the game, so I go and look them up, like, Luch introducing us or reintroducing probably to Marvel Boy because I had totally forgotten about him. But yeah, that I like that that Marvel, the movies have done a really good job of introducing characters. Their casting has been fan-freaking-tastic. That I hope everything just keeps playing out like this because I'm thoroughly enjoying where all of this is going.
I just hope Brie Larson does a good job because she has to live up to a pretty big role.
Yeah,
just saying.
What? Who
Brie Larson?
Yeah, but nobody played her before.
No. But what I'm saying is that she has a pretty big mantle as Captain Marvel.
I mean, she's a good actress. So
Chris Evans, is not only Captain America, but was a Human Torch as well. So he's already done his dues. Hugh Jackman's been in God knows how many X-Men movies by now. And Ryan Reynolds is great in anything that he's in. So.
Except for Green Lantern.
But he himself fixed that issue by shooting himself in the past. So it obviously...
Interesting how that works.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's it. I don't... You know what? This is one of those levels where... you play through it and it's just like a nostalgia level, a story level, and there's no boss at the end and you just move on because there's no final boss to defeat in a level based solely around Stan Lee and his incredible work that literally pushed me in my imagination as a kid to an adult to like where I'm, a middle-aged guy still enjoying his work. Right. So this level is special. And for those of you that journeyed with us through this level, thank you. There's no boss. There's no hard thing to defeat at the end. You've journeyed through, and now we're here. So, do either of you guys have anything to say?
Just rest in peace, Stan Lee. You brought to us some of the greatest creations in the world, and we bid you farewell.
Excelsior, as they would say.
Excelsior. Later, taters.
All right, thanks, guys. We'll see you guys next week.